Covert Missions is confirmed for January, and we can't wait for it to be released.
Join us and our guest host as we talk about his experiences in the current meta and what we're going to do until January to keep our local tournaments fresh and exciting.
This is episode 149, The Waiting Game.
You have been well trained.
No. You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
There is no try.
We go rogue when Jason's not here, right, Mike?
Yeah, we do. And that might be the first thing we could say, I guess, is Jason is at a work function and could not be with us tonight. So he is being temporarily replaced by someone we've wanted to have on the show for a little while and just haven't quite had time yet. That's a guy who plays a Kim and I's local named Nathan Ball.
Hi, buddy.
So Nathan's here. How you doing?
Hello. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
And I think it'll be hopefully a good show, and we'll have the three of us here, and Jason won't kill us when he comes back and finds how well we've done.
All the buttons I pushed incorrectly.
It's the ultimate goal. So yeah, let's get into some news. Let's do it. Kim, what's the news?
So, I would say the biggest thing that we've heard this week is Covert Missions being announced for January. So there was a lot of excitement.
Hooray!
Thank you, Matt Holland, for at least saying January 2020.
Yeah. I
did enjoy the joke of that somebody did confirm that it was the year 2020 that they were referring to. I had to laugh a little bit.
That was good.
So
yes, so January 2020.
And I think we're looking at maybe early. I think that's what we were discussing just before we went live, because there's 11 days that have to pass before a set is legal in Primes and other major events. So I think you mentioned there's the Vegas Grand is on the 25th.
It is. Yeah.
There's some other. I think we were just looking. There's another Prime, possibly in Louisville in January.
It's on January 4th, though, so I don't know if they're going to cut it or not. They're going to be real close.
It's going to be super close.
Yeah, ultimately, I guess I'm just glad to know, because you know, when we talk about scheduling and looking forward and what are we going to do for 2 months or 2 months and 2 weeks, it's kind of nice to know that you're going to have your couple weeks of holidays, obviously, and then after that, hopefully, you're coming back to a new standard meta, or very shortly you will be. It's easier to bring people in when I can say the new set's January, and I don't have to say the new set's at some undetermined time in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. Which is really good, actually. I have heard rumor that is not substantiated by anything anywhere, and so don't quote me on it. That store championships are going to be relatively early next year, so hopefully we have some really cool stuff after Prime season's over. We'll get through those in March, and then sneak right into a store championship season after that. So just keep things rolling.
Plus, hopefully, we start getting some more spoilers between now and January to satiate our appetite, keep things interesting.
I have the only spoiler I need. Although that said, yeah, absolutely, I'd love some of those support cards for the legendaries that have been revealed. And a lot of other stuff. But you're right. January does give us a definitive end date, so hopefully it's also going to give us some just something to look forward to.
That would be quite nice. So what other great news do we have out there, Mr. Mike?
Oh boy. Well, we've also been promised another meta shakeup. I wrote this sentence in the script, and I have to read it because I wrote it, and I have to commit to it. And I said, shall we delve into the topic of whether Fateful Companions is about to be hit by the fist of an effective errata? And I liked it because I mentioned the 3 cards that I think need to be hit by an effective errata, which are Fateful Companions or Fader's Fist, one of the 2 of those. And then I wondered about a date. I mentioned December. I think, are we going to be like a month away? Have it happen in December to be a month ahead of the set? Or what do you guys think?
I bet it happens in December. I mean,
December
it could still happen
right.
this month. Last time they said that they're like, there's going to be a big shakeup, and then it was like 2 days later. I feel like.
I hope it's sooner rather than later, so we have, a little bit of time, because December we have basically half the month to play, because, with holidays and everything, so.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, and then it's already a new set.
And then it's a new set. No one cares about Fateful Companions anymore, because we're onto Deathfield and
I really hope.
Darth Bane.
Yeah, but we... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as we say towards the end of most metas, there's always that one deck that you're like, all right, tired of seeing it, would like to get away from it, and that's how I feel about droids.
Oh, they're not going anywhere. Unless
I know.
Faithful gets hit pretty hard, the droid deck will still be just fine.
I think at this point they have to, though. I mean, they tried adjusting the droid points, the characters themselves, and that didn't work. So...
Yeah.
Do you think that it really needs an errata, though? I think we've seen with a lot of the local prime winning, droids haven't won everything. So
No, they haven't.
they're still very good. Don't get me wrong, but
I would ask the question though, and I know there's no way to prove this, so it's not like a question that we can really talk about. But if you were to take the players who played those other decks, right? So take the players piloting the Palpatines or the anything else. Put them on droids and give them practice. Would different players win, or would the same players be winning just with a superior deck? I see Nathan's cat. I'm extremely excited and distracted now.
Yes.
So I don't know. Is it something where the best players are just choosing not to play the best deck?
I don't know.
I think. Well, no, I don't think so. I guess my opinion. Let me back up. I think some people are in the same boat of, I've seen droids win enough, I want to show that I thought of something that can beat it.
That's fair. But then is it warping the meta just by being there? You know what I mean? Like, if you have a deck that's going to lose to chopper droids every single time it sits down, is that a problem? Or is that just a meta? And so you rock, paper, scissors and say, I can't play this deck, but I can play this deck that I know will do okay. And then, beats other stuff. It's interesting. It comes back to that question of, what demands errata? What's bad enough that you need to change the game?
I mean, Faithful Companion certainly is too good.
Yeah. I agree. Matthew Scott, by the way. I think Faithful Companions could easily cost 4, which is part of the problem. If you compare it to something like Fortify, that also costs 2 and gives you 1 shield 1 time. Or we'll go up to 3 to Profitable Connections, where you get 1 resource 1 time. Like, Faithful is so far out of balance of those other plots. Now, that said, the droids are a little weaker than some of those other characters, individually without Faithful Companions. But it's just,
I personally would love to see it if they just hit R2 and 3PO in Faithful Companions, but keep it somewhat viable for other decks.
Yeah,
so there's a Faithful Companion, Anakin K2SO deck. You can still play it.
That would be cool.
I'd play that.
Faithfuling Anakin to get the double draw would be cool, but you'd filter your deck so fast. And if you didn't have 2, you could do 2 shields damage though. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if it's cool.
I'm thinking Pod Racer Anakin.
I'm thinking the only
No,
Anakin
he's not got one Anakin on his brain anymore.
what
I'm thinking playable Anakin.
Oh, I feel that challenge better. I'm gonna get crushed by this guy, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What do you think about Vader's Fist and Delve? They're gonna be on that list?
Very good. I think Vader's Fist is more the problem than Delve.
Yeah.
Like, no one would be angry if it's like, I delved a Mega Blaster Trooper.
Yeah, delving for Fist is just, it's pretty impressive. I think anyone that's played a lot of Destiny in the last few weeks will be able to tell you that for sure.
Fist is just one of those cards where you can go from any situation in the game to basically losing when it comes down. It doesn't matter how far ahead you are. It turns so quickly.
And so, to that end, I think they've resisted errataing some of the expensive legendary cards.
Sure.
And I'll bring up Entourage and Fist as the 2 that come to my mind. Instead of, errataing Entourage, they just hit Wat Tambor. And instead of hitting Fists, what are we doing here? I mean, we killed the Snoke deck, the Snoke Watto deck, but Fist is still Fist. So are they finally going to say Fist is too good, pay a resource? Or are they going to say, well, Delve, you can't target blue cards? Or what do you do? Do you put them on the restricted list?
The second sounds like much more of an FFG thing to say Delve can only target yellow cards or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that kills Delve, but you know.
Yeah. Well,
We saw the same thing happen a lot.
yellow and red would be okay.
But you know what I always say? Speak softly and drive a big tank.
So, you speak as a person who has some authority on these matters, Nathan.
It's the future world champion.
Yeah, a future world champion. We're going to call him that.
Yes.
Oh, he is the world champion, by the way. So at our local, Nathan is somebody who wins a lot. Probably slightly more than me, if I'm being totally honest.
I don't know if I'd say that, but
He has had a top 8 in primes. He made day 2 of Worlds this year. He won an infinite GQ this summer. He's on a bit of a streak. And it's all been with bizarre decks, which is the kind of thing I think everybody likes. So before we, I guess get into our kind of meat and potatoes discussion past the news about just what people are doing at their locals and what we're going to do while we wait for Covert Missions, I'd kind of like to give Nathan a chance to just sort of talk a little bit about how he chooses his decks, how he's been successful this season, and then also just kind of how he views Destiny, where we are right now, and what he'd like to see happen next.
yeah. So yeah, I'd say I think that the past couple, especially the last prime, has sort of convinced me that I might be okay at this game, not just lucky.
I think that's fair to say.
That I previously thought. I mean, I mainly just play jank aggro would be the official term for it. But yeah, I mean, pretty much as long as it's usually some off-beaten character that no one else is playing, I enjoy playing it.
I respect that.
Droids are like, they're too good for me to play. It just seems like, to me personally, it's like, well, that's easy if I win with droids. Anyone can do that. No offense to droid players. There's some very good droid players. Obviously, One World.
Them a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've beaten our other local player that plays Han droids once. So
I beat him occasionally just so he knows that he's not the champion of Epic Loot, but then you beat me in return, so sort of a rock paper scissors thing. Can I ask what led you to the deck you took to Worlds? Oh, that was sort of a surprise success that you went 6-2 with, I think.
6-2, yep, and could have beaten, could have gotten a top 32. That was slightly better.
So what was it?
It was Django, Phasma, Profitable Connections.
And you played that at the Prime afterward as well, right?
Yes, played at the Prime afterwards.
So and top 8 at that Prime?
Yes.
Nice. So how does this deck work? How does this Django Phasma Profitable Connections make its money, do its thing?
I mean, mainly Django's great because you can play equipment for cheaper than you should be able to, so you can get lots of actually very good equipment for cheap. And then you throw lots of other big stuff in there. You have fiber cutlasses, handheld cannons, Mandalorian jetpack, secret best card in the game. And the whole idea behind the deck, and I've been iterating with Django through, I think, like 4 different Django decks, this was the deck that I constructed that I thought could most easily get to 8 damage turn 1. Compared to any other deck, which in my mind was, if I can kill a droid turn 1, I'm in good shape.
Yeah, I agree.
And it just happened to prove that it's very good, or not very good, but pretty good against most other decks. Being able to just deal hard aggro is, fast aggro is really good in this meta.
I like it. I like it. What can we look forward to you playing this week in our Infinite tournament? Or have you decided
I don't
yet?
think I'd tell him, Nathan. I don't think I'd tell him.
I mean, I'm stuck between like 3 things. I've got Jabba Towson because I have 4 speed
Nice.
dice now. So
Yeah, nice.
I'm also thinking of another Django deck because, as I just recently rediscovered, Sith Holocron is an equipment.
That's silly. That's stupid.
But the deck I have currently built is FN Maul.
Yay!
Nice. Hey, Kim, you're going to see FN play. Sounds like. Nice. Those are all really cool. And
I look forward to getting chopped up by Ahsoka and Mace Windu.
I am definitely playing Ahsoka. But who knows what I'll play next week. So I guess that kind of leads us into the discussion piece and the freeform sort of discussion piece, Kim, which are going to hopefully be about what we're doing at our local. To try to keep interest and make everybody have a decent time through January when Covert Missions comes out. So I don't know if you want to run a transition, but you can.
No, we don't have to on this one. I don't have a. Plus, I'm a little gun shy on the transitions. So we're gonna save it for the main topic, which is the one that I have set up to connect.
I think that's hysterical.
Hi, Monk. I'm sorry we woke you up so early. A whole hour. You crazy West Coastern people.
It would be difficult for me, although it would be difficult for him to live here. So, actually, probably not. He's probably way more adaptable than I am.
There's snow.
There is snow. I'm sick.
You sick of snow?
No, just sick, but also snow. There's snow and I'm sick. I don't know if they're related, but they're both Ohio right now for me. So
seems fair.
So let's talk about locals. Kim, what have you been doing? I know you've been doing some stuff for our local lately. Can you want to talk about that a little more?
Awesome.
I guess.
I think it's cool, and I know we touched on it some last week, so I don't want to beat it into the ground, I guess. But I think this is what we've been able to start doing now is streaming our weekly local. Most weeks. This week I'm got a prior commitment, but otherwise we're there. And it's I think Mike agrees too that it's kind of a new fun way for me to be able to engage with Destiny, for somebody who doesn't have enough time necessarily to build decks, who isn't that good at building decks. And it gives our local guys an opportunity to kind of practice being on stream. So then when they are asked to be on stream, they're like, yeah, fine, it's whatever. I do it every Wednesday. We hope that Redbird prepares them for big competition.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of fun. For me,
it has been.
It's a lot of fun for me because I can hit the right buttons when I do that most of the time.
And I think too, this is a way we talk about communities sometimes and building community. And it doesn't have to be that everyone is like the end-all be-all competitive genius of Star Wars Destiny. You know what I mean? There's a place for everybody at these local tournaments, or in my view, there should be. So if you have somebody that wants to stream, or you have somebody that wants to play their theme deck, making it as inclusive as possible is a big part of what we're trying to do. And I think this stream has kind of let Kim rejoin our locals, where she hadn't been able to be there for a little while. Part of that's the festival that you were managing, but it is kind of nice.
That just makes me cry. Don't let PTA.
Yeah,
don't
right.
Talk about it.
But it's nice. It's nice to have everybody have something that they can do to contribute and participate. And we're going to get you playing again here before too long.
I have a ton of old stuff.
Hey, we're playing Infinite. Which I guess kind of leads me into... That sounded interesting. I joke a lot that I'm the vice president of our local playgroup, because the vice president, in the real United States, has effectively no power, unless there's a tie in the Senate or the president, gives them something to do. And in our local, I also have effectively no power unless our TO, guy named James, asks me to do something. But I do often I end up in one of those positions where it's sort of like, what are we going to play this week, Mike? What do we want to do this week? And so I think about it a lot. It's like, what new formats can we play, to make our local something that's fun for our regulars and doesn't completely exclude people who just want to come try the game. What prizes make it worth it to come in when you're in month 3 of a meta? So I guess what I want to talk about now for a minute, and since you guys are in the same meta as me, this could either be a good conversation or sort of a short one. What's working? What's not working? What would you guys recommend to people in other locals that are struggling to get 2 and 3 people? What do you think we could try to learn to do better? And if anyone's in the chat wants to chime in, what are you guys doing that's effective? Or what are you doing that didn't work? Just, talk about pricing, kind of building a local, and then what's going on?
I think the pricing helps where you can. I mean, not everybody has prizes sitting around in their back pocket ready to hand out, but sometimes the store can help with that. When you're in this part of the meta, though, I get that people, they don't want to pack. They've got all the cards.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I'll say those new store kits have been great, though.
Yes. We recently got the kit that has the full art. What's that cannon, Nathan?
Admiral,
Pulse
handheld,
cannon.
and Nemons.
Yes. Admiral's the new one. The pulse cannon was what I was thinking of, the yellow one. But yeah, we got some new full arts that everybody actually wants. So thanks to FFG for that. You picked them from us. I think we had 6 or 7 last Wednesday, but everybody wanted the Admiral. So it was like, that's really cool. You want that kind of competition going on. What else? And what else? If you have a local that's sort of dying off, what would you recommend? Either one of you. Is there something you think people should try?
I know when we were at Nova, we did, and right now I think you can get boxes pretty cheap if you do a throwback tourney or a throwback draft. I saw some people talking about picking up some Empire at War.
I saw that too. Yep, $12.
Because they're like $12.
Yep, I'm all about that.
And so then you can do like a classic retro. I think it's a retro draft. I think is what we called it at Nova, and we had a great turnout for that. It was just because it, you've kind of forgotten about those cards a little bit. They've rotated out. You do it as just a small set, so then you're putting things together that you probably never necessarily did before.
Absolutely. I definitely. So we've kind of, I guess we're moving into that. What do we do with formatting now that we've played Standard to death? What can we do to maybe play with some of those old cards again? And to that end, this week we're playing Infinite. I think I mentioned that when I was trying to get Nathan to tell me his Infinite deck. But yeah, that's one of those things too. And I look at things people say, and I talk to people. When I talk to people at our prime, and I had a guy that I played, and I apologize for forgetting his name now, but basically he told me their local gave up on them. They moved to a new store that's effectively not supporting them. They moved to a new store that basically said they would get them the kits, but not run their tournament.
Wow.
So it's just been a disaster. And so I hear stories like that. And, we tell people, oh, we'll just, put in some effort, do what you can. And I feel grateful for the local that we have, for one. But for two, it's sort of like, I do think about that. How can we help grow the game at those levels? And what can people do if they're struggling? They're showing up and it's just them and one other person.
Yeah.
What do you?
That's hard not having the support of your FLGS. Maybe they're not an FLGS, they're just a GS at that point.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Well, I think we're very fortunate with the store that we have, being so open and willing to have, just kind of let us do our thing, and then but still support it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Pricing, I think, is really important. We mentioned that. I'm not saying that every store is going to be able to, get every kit on time, because part of that is, FFG and just the ordering, but the effort's always appreciated. Some stores do store credits, some stores do packs. I'm personally of the opinion store credit's more valuable, but
totally agree. I think store credit is huge.
Yep. I think it's actually extremely crucial to keeping your local together to have something like that to play for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, at our local, we've gone a little bit beyond that with some extra promo pricing, some stuff that maybe isn't exactly required, but sort of is fun that we were able to get. But yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. I sympathize with people that's locals aren't really fighting, but I would say stick it out, because we were down to like 2 people once. And we've sort of clawed all the way back. So it's not an easy thing, but it's a worthwhile thing. Because you got 3 people from the same local right now talking.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, to Mr. Vice President's credit, he has certainly put in a lot of effort to
I second that. Yep.
Keep the local engaging. Bringing food for all of us every Wednesday. I always look forward to my loser cookie.
Last week it was brownies.
I'm a loser. So cookie. Not the cookie is the loser.
That's right. Although maybe it is. I don't know.
No.
That's why I'm losing.
They're pretty good.
But yeah, even like things like making sure that you grab prizes at Worlds to give out at the local for other people who couldn't have been there. It's small things that keep it enjoyable, and I like to think I go just because it's fun to hang out, play the game. But certainly the little touches, definitely for even maybe a new player to join, and they get this cool Worlds promo. It's like, cool, keep coming back. It's awesome.
Well,
anybody.
Can
Yeah.
I say from, I don't want to say an outsider standpoint, I just want to say from a not as frequent player standpoint, is that the group as a whole has done an outstanding job of making somebody who, some of you guys know each other outside of Destiny, but you don't feel like that walking into it. You're immediately welcomed, everyone is friendly, you'll share any thoughts that you have, you'll give feedback. Like, so sometimes it's intimidating to walk into a store and not know anyone and then not be sure what you're expected, what's going to happen. What are these players going to be like? Are they really hardcore? Are they really competitive? Are they going to laugh at my deck? Are they going to laugh at me when I make a mistake? And you guys never do anything like that. And I think that's huge for bringing in a new player who either hasn't played this game or hasn't played a CCG at all and making them feel comfortable within the local environment that they want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to recognize, too, that you can want to win and still be learning.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to go into an event and not win the first couple weeks you're there, especially if you're playing with people that have been playing for 2 years now.
Right.
You know, and I think that's tough, and I think that comes with time. But it's something that I think anyone can build. It's just if you want to have a Destiny local, it's the little thing, and they add up.
Yep. I think that's a good segue into our discussion, Mr.
Agree.
Mike. All right, let's see if I can hit the correct button.
I'm ready.
But you know what I always say: speak softly and drive a big tank.
Will there be another 10-minute wait?
Haha! She did it correctly this time.
You got it right?
I think so. It looks like it is.
Yeah. Awesome.
So today's discussion, so Mike and I both knew it at filling in Jason's shoes, and they're larger shoes than I anticipated. We really kind of want to, leading into this, kind of segue into what are some different formats that maybe you could look into having at your local. So we've got a pretty good schedule for our local that Mike and our stores kind of put together. And so we're going to share some of, I guess, our thoughts on what might bring in more players. What you don't have to do any of these. That's just kind of what we brainstormed together. And again, if you think of something else, share it. Send it over to us. We'll be sure to mention it on the show. Because just like everybody else, we just want to keep the game up and going. I mean, we want to keep it interesting for the next month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah,
before we get
have a
Covert
time
Missions.
frame now. We do. We have a time frame now, which means we can build a schedule, which is cool. So we're trying out a couple new formats for us. We have not had Infinite Nights. We're having 2. We're going to play Infinite for the next 2 weeks, including at our free play. I'm going to say Infinite's fine, which I think is fun. Changes the game up a little bit. We have not tried the 40-40 yet. I think we're going to try the 40-40 and the 40-40 Highlander, neither one. Our store did get its premium kit with the Mr. Bones playmat, which I'm looking forward to trying to win, although I suspect that...
Very cool map.
Yeah, I suspect that I will probably not win that one.
That's the one I want to win.
I'm still saying, man, house rules. You got to have Mr. Bones in your deck to win the match.
I mean, that's only
legit.
me and Scott at that point.
Hey, I've got some promos, but we'll have to proxy some dice.
It's all good. Everyone plays Mr. Bones. No, so we'll have the premium kit, and that'll be a standard event. That's a more competitive event for people that are looking for that. We are going to have a week of alliances. So 2-man teams, 2-people teams. We'll see who wins. I think we're gonna try to stream that one, so that'll be fun.
I should be there, huh?
Probably, yeah.
So I guess so you hit that high level, Mike, and I just want to go back and maybe take a brief moment or two to maybe somebody's not as familiar with what an Infinite or what a 40-40 or a 40-40 Highlander is. Can you go into a little bit more detail, just for those of us at home that may not know?
I would love to. So Infinite, you can play with anything from any of the sets. So the black box sets that have rotated, the first 3, become legal again, I guess. It has a separate balancing. It has its own holocron. And it means that I can play guard in my blue hero and the Ancient Lightsaber and Force Speed and Shoto Lightsaber. And cards I grew very fond of that have left the standard rotation, which is nice. Nathan, do you want to do the other ones?
Back. Whatever
Describe
I
the
build.
format?
That's what I'm gonna bring
just
back.
what 40-40 is.
Yeah, 40-40 is basically you bring a 40 card deck and you have 40 points worth of characters, so leading to infinite shenanigans.
Absolutely.
That's a
So
good way
you
of
can all
putting
do all
it.
sorts
I
of
like
crazy
it.
things, some very thematic teams. And then 40-40 Highlander is the same idea, but you can only have one copy of a single card in your deck, making it much closer to Commander, for example, if you play Magic the Gathering.
I don't know that I ever
Sounds
put those two
interesting.
together, honestly. Like, I didn't realize, because I don't play Magic,
Yeah.
so...
It's supposed to reflect, I think. Although obviously we don't have a single legendary creature to make up the 40-40. But
We have the Hunt.
We could. I mean, you could. You could.
we could. That's the Rancor. 40 Rancor said that thing. All right, let's go.
Dies to single stick.
Yeah, right. Right. Alliances is the 2v2 format. So basically, two players team up. I'm not going to walk through the turn structure or anything, but
No, that's totally
it's a
cool.
It's a 2v2 tournament, which gives you a chance to maybe team deck build with a partner or something. Figure this out, by the way, Nathan. We're just going to draw names the week or two before,
Okay.
and then if anybody shows up that night that doesn't have a partner and wants to play Star Wars, we will convince one of the employees to play as their partner.
Or the streamer, apparently, if she's there.
Or the streamer. Kim, that might be you. So yeah, one of the cool things about Infinite is if your collection's rotated and you're feeling a little left out and you can't play Star Wars, guess what? You can play Star Wars.
That'd be the skin.
Because there's no reason why you couldn't throw your whole cards together in an Infinite deck and come down and play with us.
I could go real throwback and do original Han Leia again. The deck didn't do that good to start. I'm sure it won't do that good now.
Han
But
got
you're
a point
right.
reduction.
I mean,
Yeah.
those of us, so if you've listened to the show for a while, you know this was my very first CCG, and I went into it with completely the wrong approach, being a completionist. So to say that I have a lot of the first set would be an understatement. We're close to four, and there's two of us that played at the time, so we're close to 4 copies of each card.
Yeah, or you got someone, in Nathan's case, who started. You started during set 4?
Way of the Force is when I
Okay.
started.
Oh, Nathan, I can
So-
hook you up, buddy.
So yeah, it's sort of the same thing as now that everything's rotated, I've gone on eBay. Force Speeds, which were like a $50 card when I started, and I was like, I don't want $100. But now I have them. Like, I'm super excited to be able to play with them. I've got Ancient Lightsabers,
Yeah.
make all these
Yeah.
cool decks that I was like, ah, man, this card's the worst playing against it. But now
Absolutely.
I have it, so now I'm the worst.
That's the cool thing, though, right? It's so you have players who were relatively new players that missed it the first time, and you have players who are old players that haven't had a chance to play in a while. And Infinite's kind of nice because, from a locals not necessarily playing at a GQ standpoint, you have the opportunity to bring everybody together again,
Right.
which I
Get the
which I
band
like.
back together again.
Yeah,
And I'll say, even just, this past week, coming up with deck ideas for Infinite, it's almost like having a new set. Even because I've kind of forgotten what a lot of the cards do, so, I'm flipping through my deck builder app, and I'm like, wait, this was a card that existed? That's awesome. I'm going to build a deck around this.
Nathan, go
Absolutely.
look up
It's refreshing.
Awakenings from Awakenings. It's my favorite card ever.
my favorite card ever is a tough discussion because I have like 3 things I would say immediately.
Nope, one. You can only say
But-
one.
Anakin Skywalker. But the other one that I
Reversal.
Reversal. Oh, I've lost that card so many times.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I love Guard. I really like Guard, and I didn't realize how much I liked Guard until I sleeved
Until
it
it
for my
went away.
Mace Windu Ahsoka deck this week for the Infinite, and I thought, man, I like this card. I'm excited to play it. But
I don't know why
Ancient
Awakenings lets you resolve a modified die as if it were not modified. It's amazing. And it's a
I played
support, so
that.
it just sits out there, man.
I played that in a Luke Ray Store Championship deck during. I want to say it was probably Spirit of Rebellion.
Yeah, it would
Was
have
that
been early.
was that a Store Championship season?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It might have been. I think it was. Because, like, Kylo Vader, but the Anakin picture on the Vader card. That was one of the decks, and the Pomaz deck was a deck. I think that was Spirit. But But I played Awakenings in a Luke Ray tech then because Ray had that +2 side. It drove me nuts.
Yep.
And being able to resolve it was cool.
It was amazing. Great card. Love that card. In fact, whatever I build, I find... that means I gotta play blue.
See what I'm doing here? Now you gotta build a deck. So I would say too. So Infinite's really cool from an inclusive standpoint, but it's also a fun deck building challenge. So I'm gonna come around again. Last summer, several people from our local. I think Kim, you were at Origins, but were you there the day we played Infinite?
Yeah, you mean this past year?
Yeah.
When Nathan won?
Yes.
Yes, that was right. That was That was slightly that was as I was getting the plague. But I was there.
That's right. I remembered you got sick.
I got the plague.
That was like the ultimate tournament where I went X1 and was super happy about it, but Nathan went like XO, and so he was like the winner. Got his Worlds invite that day. Got his seat.
Yes.
That was awesome. So let's talk a little bit about Infinite. Since we have played, I guess, in a sanctioned event in the GQ, and we're talking about it locally now. What would you say is somebody who has won an Infinite tournament? What makes playing in formats that different?
Well, I'll say when we played Infinite, it was before the restricted list had come out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a nightmare of mean streets and hyperspace jump and retreat. Now that is in place, though, I think it is much healthier. Still lots of just crazy shenanigans, resolving all your dice. No one has any chance to do anything. But it's cool. It's fun. It feels very different from standard, which is nice.
I would agree for sure. The hyperspace jump, mean streets, retreat, scoundrel / combo decks were just they were something. And I think of and it wasn't a huge Infinite event that we played. It was like 20, 25 people, I think, might even be less than that. But it was probably 30% that. Either a Han Solo variant or just a combo variant, relying on those cards. So it will be nice to see something else. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to walk into some second chance deck.
Oh, yep, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be talking about second chance coming back.
I love that card too.
The nice thing about playing it locally, though, is you don't have to actually build a quote-unquote competitive deck. You can just play cards that you think are fun.
That's very true.
My Ahsoka 4-speed Mace Windu deck is competitive and fun.
Yes.
We're going to call it that. Until it's smoked by whatever thing you do.
Hey, it beat my deck immediately after when we played a pod, so...
I forgot about that. It was like literally the game after he won the tournament.
Exactly, Just came in and
boy, way to wipe off that, new win smell. Like, whop.
I want you to know, Nathan would have won a store championship the first tournament he ever played in if he had not played me in the last round. He beat everybody else there.
Nice.
He never played the game before.
Oh, man.
Only you haven't been playing that dirty mill deck.
I know, and that's not even me bragging on myself, because I've been playing for like a year at that. It was just like... it's very cool. And
that's how you get new players for your local. Just have all the local players drop, so that the new player can win a tournament.
Yeah,
that's the plan. Alternately, we'll all play mill for the positive play experience. Someone will come in with their shiny new deck, and I'll say, "All right, guys,
throw a table, man.
We're all playing mill this week."
I will throw a table. I'm not coming that week. Do that on my off week. I'm not even streaming that nonsense.
We're gonna play the mill challenge. Best mill deck wins.
It's like watching paint dry.
It would be awful. Every single game.
You had a card jet?
Well, everybody would know it was mill week, so everyone would play mill tech, which would make it so hard to win. Because there'd be like ancient lightsabers and Luke's protections, and like you play everything you could to survive. But no, so again, I guess ultimately it's a matter of like we're talking about different formats because locally we're trying different formats, and I hope that you could tell a little bit just based on this how excited we are to try it. It's not just us. I think there are 4 or 5 other guys who are really looking forward to playing some stuff. We have a guy who played Darth Vader with Rise Again and all those goodies religiously before rotation. And he is so excited to put that deck back together. or someone that played the original Palpatine. I'm not sure how that deck's aged really, but he gets to play Palpatine if he wants to. Or, in my case, it's just the blue cards. It's not even necessarily a character that I want to play, as much as it's just some of the cards that were in decks that I played. Mm-hmm. Or in Nathan's case, cards he didn't get to play. Or in Kim's case, FN, when she plays next week.
Love FN.
I'll say, which of the formats are you most excited for?
Me?
Yeah. Both of you.
Alliances.
Actually,
I think alliances.
That'll be fun. I don't know how we're going to stream it.
Alliances with our group of people has the potential to be really funny at the same time.
You're right.
An enjoyable experience, especially because my intent is to give everybody a week to deck build. You'll know your partner. We'll come in kind of with the idea of build together and see what.
That's fun.
I might even have a prize for most thematic pairing. See what people can come up with.
So I know it's not in a list that we mentioned. Infinite, the only thing I don't like about Infinite is having to try to go back, and I don't even know that I'll bother, honestly, to figure out all the subtypes on all the cards, because it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's just overwhelming. I'm always going to be a fan of drafting, even if it's a retro draft, if it's a new draft. Draft has not been a thing that always takes off super well, unless it's a brand new set, and I get why, but maybe getting a few retro drafts in there could be kind of fun.
I think if I can get my hands on a cheap box of Empire at War.
$12.
Yeah, so I'm saying maybe we do a little retro draft on a Friday sometime, just alongside Magic, see what happens. I don't know when. It would be in December probably, but I think a draft would be fun. I think I like the idea. I would like to we'd have to use the first draft set. I've come to determine I actually just don't like the second draft set.
I don't disagree with that, yeah.
I agree with you.
And it's not that I don't think there are good cards, because there are. I just think the first draft set drafts better. You can build a more cohesive deck with the cards inside of it.
Yep. I think I have 2 copies of that, so I could bring an extra one.
Very good. I don't know that everybody has one. I bought 3 copies of that thing at some point, because I wanted to play Anakin, so I got him, and then I forgot him one night we drafted, and I bought another one. And I was like, I'm gonna keep this one together. And then I needed a hidden motive, and then I didn't.
Yep.
I'm not buying a 4th one. I will have to put one. I'll have to put one of them.
They may be a little harder to find now.
Yeah, they might be. But absolutely. And so this kind of comes back to our earlier discussion. It ties in here, but I guess what we're saying is if you're trying to build up some interest in your local, you want to get some people playing, especially coming into the holidays, try some new format. Maybe bring some cookies, have some prizes. It's the little things.
And if anybody out there is interested, if you want to try to figure out how to do a stream at your local, by all means, you can. I'll share with you what I've learned if you want to send an email over. It helps having the store's internet line. I will tell you that. We've learned. So if that's something that they're willing to work with you on, I've done it. Jason's familiar with it. So yeah, send an email over. We'll share at least what we've learned so far.
That'd be awesome.
Well, now
do you want to get into the question?
Let's hop on over. Speaking of streams, right? Let's hop on over to the question of the week.
There can be no mistakes this time.
All right, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna do my best Jason impression.
Oh boy.
I'm not gonna do that. So last week's question, I value my position on the show. Was what do you feel makes a live stream of Star Wars Destiny enjoyable to watch or easy to follow? We did not have a ton of response to this one.
I think Tim had
Tim. It was Tim
he
who
might
said
have said what everybody else is saying though.
Big tokens. Seriously, having the large tokens available for streams lately has really helped with being able to follow the action. Good commentary and hand cams are great too.
I'm starting to. There's been enough arguments in favor that I'm starting to get on board the large token wagon. Sure, we'll call it a wagon.
I'm gonna go buy the smallest tokens I can.
I get it because last week yet again, I yelled at a local player. I didn't yell, but I gave a local player an awful lot of heck. He may be one of the two gentlemen
is it the other one
on the
that's
stream,
here?
not named Nathan, for using those daggone clear tokens on the stream.
I love those clear tokens.
He has a whole flippin' pile, you guys, of all these different tokens. And what is he grab?
They are a memento from time past and tournaments.
But you had like 3
played.
of the games that you could have used them in.
Yeah.
I'm calling them out in public now. And I bet you, the next time I stream, if you tune in, if I don't have new tokens, I bet Mike Hill uses his clear tokens. I think he just likes to get a razz out of me.
Invisible damage.
I do. Also, if you look close, then you see him, but if you don't, then it's like I don't take any damage yet, and I look really good.
That's what I think he's going for.
I need that. I need that confidence boost. I need to be able to look down at my characters and say, "Oh, they're fine," and then look closer. So, maybe not. So, because that question, I guess, obviously we got response, but it was maybe a little less than we would have liked. I looked at some of the questions we've been asking in the Hangout. And one thing I want to say about the Chance Cube Hangout is it is a group that you gain membership to, and you become a Patreon. And basically, you just get to chill with us, which I promise has some value.
It does.
And in there, Kim asked people while they were waiting for Covert Mission, what other formats were they interested in trying? And she mentioned that she liked Draft very well. And that seemed to get some response, including Lee Price plugging Marvel Champions for which
I have a copy. Nathan has a copy. Scott has a copy.
I don't have a copy yet, but I'm not ruling it out. And aside from that, which actually I did think was quite funny, Seth Taylor said he had a ton of fun doing the 2v2 alliances, which I also would like to have a ton of fun with. We're going to get into that soon. Seth also said he had a ton of fun with his League, and League has been sort of the thing that I want but have never really done.
It's a lot of effort. I mean, if we're being perfect, it takes a lot of effort on the store side or someone within the group to run it. Like, it's not just a thing that you can be like, all right, let's go. I mean,
I did a lot of the hard part over the summer. Like, I created a schedule, made the points, made a spreadsheet for it and all that, like to track it. And it just sort of got lost in translation between me and Epic Loot, and I never pushed it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I sent it, it was out there, and then when we didn't really get to it, I didn't say we have to get to this. You know, I just sort of said, okay, we'll come back around to it eventually. We just haven't. That's something to write down. Maybe something to work on.
We've had a couple of topics in shows gone past of individuals who've done very successful leagues. Billy Fellon in Richmond, they've had a great league the last couple of years. Actually, the information that I sent you about a league came from him.
I modeled ours after that one.
Yeah. So it just takes some dedication and a good group and those wanting to do it. And it circles right back to how do you keep your local going. It's going to be the same thing with the league. You've got to have some sort of price. I mean, there's got to be something worth it. There's got to be something in there.
Like, ultimately, we play for fun, right? We're playing this game to have fun. And we're paying to play this game to have fun. But we also like to see something tangible out of it. You know, whether it be a store credit or a prize that's a pack or a prize that's a card or a prize that's a token, you know, whatever it is. That stuff's important too. And that was something, with League, you really have to be on it. And that was sort of where we ended up getting stuck, was what's pricing going to look like, who's going to run pricing, and it just never really got figured out. Because I was giving away more promos than League probably would have. Yeah. Even then, just out of kits and stuff. So. We also had a comment. Jim commented, we played 4040 Infinite Highlander on Tuesday, and it was... I look forward to playing 4040 Highlander.
That'll be cool.
That is my most look forward to format.
That's one that, I like that.
Yep, I look forward to that because I look forward to playing something stupid that I shouldn't be able to play. As a work, I've
got you two and everybody in the group's actually in our locals, pretty darn good players. I like formats like this where it feels like it slightly evens the playing field a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like, that's why I like draft. That's why I like this 40-40 Infinite Highlander sounds kind of cool because it could still be a good pairing, but you've only got one of those cards in there that I have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely forces you to put in those cards where you're like, this just barely doesn't make the list. I'm going to put this in instead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fun because, a lot of times it's hard to justify putting in that 3-cost removal when you're like, well, I really don't have room.
Yeah.
Nathan, did you play the week that I had everybody playing Solidarity?
Yeah, I won that week.
What did you play?
I played Solidarity Hondo Boosh.
Nice.
That's excellent. Oh man,
which was great.
That was a fun one. That was sort of, if anyone wants to play Solidarity, they can. And it turned into like 4 or 5 Solidarity decks. That was good stuff. That was my lead up to 40-40 Infinite Highlander. I did. So yeah, good stuff. And so again, it kind of fit in with the theme, and so I wanted to bring that up in other questions.
I like it.
But for next week's question of the week, this is where it gets kind of exciting because next week is episode 150.
That's crazy to me.
150.
150, which, if you can count, is one more than 149 and 10 less than 160. So big number.
Wow.
So kind of sticking with the theme of counting, the question is almost like a game. And so the question is, can you guess, you as in you the listener, or you the reader, the exact release date of Covert Mission? I will check that post after the date's formally announced, and the person with the closest guess will get congratulated on the show. I'll make a big deal about it. And we'll win a fun prize that will likely be some assortment of either Chance Q exclusive art promos or promos that we have available. So it'll be a cool one. I look forward to your guesses. My guess is, Nathan, what's the first Friday in January?
November 4th. Or January. January 4th. Not November.
My guess is January 10th.
January 10th, huh? Should I write that down somewhere?
You can if you want.
Here.
What do you think, Nathan? When's that happening?
I'm going to say, well, it's actually 3rd was the first Friday. I was wrong.
Yes.
But I'm going to say
That's
January
not happening.
3rd. As much as I
January
didn't
3rd.
believe the rumors that the set was delayed because of the Rise of Skywalker spoilers, I'm now starting to believe it.
Maybe
Okay.
Mandalorian too, though.
Oh man, both the Mandalorian's in there.
Maybe. I'm just expecting to open up those packs and it's going to be like the end scene of the Rise of Skywalker, and that's why they couldn't release it, because they thought, let's print that card.
Okay. So you got January 3rd, I got January 10th. Kim, what do you think?
I'll go the
That's just
17th.
people.
You're going 17th, so they're going to let everybody down the grand.
Yep.
The 31st would be letting everyone
I'm a
down.
realist, not a negative person.
I love it. All right. Do you want to try the ending plugs, or do you want me to?
I'll do it. We'll see how it
All
goes.
right.
But
Are
yeah,
you ready?
so make sure that question will be pinned to the top of our Facebook page as
Yes,
soon
it
as I get the template from Mr. Matthew Scott, or I get Matthew Scott's question. One of the two. But
Works for me.
so thanks everybody. With that, that's this week's show. We made it. I only missed a couple of buttons.
You did great.
Whew, I don't know. Whew, I have a new appreciation for what Jason does every week, let me tell you. And I hope he hears that. So, Nathan, thank you for being on the show and filling in for us.
Thanks for having me. This
We
was a
hope
lot
to
of
have
fun.
you back again sometime soon. If you are listening via podcast, or if you're rewatching the stream, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're hanging out over here on Amazon or on Twitch with us, remember, Amazon Prime, you get a free sub. You can, if you'd like to share that with us, you get a really cool emote. What?
This
What are
dude
you laughing
Nathan is subbing right now.
What?
So this guy Nathan is subbing right now.
All right.
Oh, I can't. It's not available till November 22nd.
Yeah, so that's free every month.
That's fine.
You get a free $5 sub, and we'd love it if you wanted to share that with us. If you're, these are harder than Jason. Let's on. If you're, like I said, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that notification icon. we've got a lot more videos in the pipeline. There's one that Jason does not nearly toot his horn enough with, called This Week in Destiny, that is popping up over on YouTube every week. We need to start getting that on the main page, she says, to make a mental note to herself. If you're listening to us via podcast, thank you so much. Be sure to review us, please, on your podcast networks of choice. Are those what those called? Thanks to Mr. Mike Hill for putting this wonderful script together this week. Mr. Nathan Ball for sitting here going, I don't know what these guys are doing, but I'm going to go along for the ride. For Mr. Matthew Scott, who, per usual, keeps us honest, gets us shared out in the big groups, and all he does behind the scenes. And thank you to all of our Patreons. Like Mike said, if you want to hang out with us in the Chains Cube Hangout for just $1 a month, you can join our Patreon group and hear all the silly nonsense that we share over there. I got to go talk about The Mandalorian tonight. I won't spoil it. I just got to go talk about it.
I have not seen it yet.
So
Never mind.
And we've got some thank yous that go out to our Patreons periodically. So there's some cool ones of those in the pipeline as coming down.
So we're going to need to get
correctly. And yeah, we'll do that one for you, I promise. And last but certainly not least, if you want to know what all those price cards are going for when that new set drops on my prediction of January 17th, not Mike's prediction, make sure you go for iOS. I know we don't have it for Android yet, and I'm sorry. But iOS, you can download the Chance Cube Price Watch app for just the measly price of a pack of cards. You'll make that back just in one sale, perhaps. So that'll do it for this week, kids.
Okay, and one more thank you to Kim for figuring this out.
Whew.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks.
It went pretty well.
Thanks. I have a new appreciation for Jason. I mean, he's pretty awesome anyway, but whew, this is a lot. This is different than weekly streaming, you guys. There's a lot more buttons.
I believe you.
With that, tune in next week at either 8 or 9. We're feeling out 8 p.m. to see how you guys like it. So let us know.
Yeah.
You might see us more at that time. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
This has been The Chance Cube, a Star Wars Destiny podcast, a non-profit organization dedicated to building community through gaming. Visit our website for all things Star Wars Destiny, including our Price Watch, Meta Tracker, and latest articles from the Chance Cube family. Find our latest videos on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit us at patreon.com/thechancecube. Your patronage allows us to grow this program and help us give back to the gaming community by sponsoring events, giveaways, and supporting our own community building initiatives. This is Mike Hill, the voice of the Chance Cube. Thanks for listening. The Chance Cube is not affiliated with Fantasy Flight Games, Lucasfilms, or the Walt Disney Company.